Guys, Boomer here. So I managed to get to the bottom of the issue we were facing in the last video, so I thought I'd just quickly record a debug video just to show you how I solve the issue of ZZ index. So firstly, I just thought I'd bring up the debugger just to we'll just minimize it for now. But so I've got it back to the state where it's working. It's currently wrong in this version, and I'll show you why. So the reason why couldn't identify the difference between the version we're working on and the version or the previous final version is because I hadn't set the body to 100% in the original version. So as you can see here, the body is only as high as essentially the current nodes of the DOM, so it's not taking up the full height. So essentially when stop that from selecting. So essentially when this even though we've pushed the Z index back to -1, it's technically behind the body element, but the body element is so short that we can actually still select it. So when we if I show you here, if we uncomment these, so we make the body and HTML 100%, then by pushing, I'll just quickly save it as well, then when we hover, so we've actually pushed this drop down menu behind the body via the Z index of -1. If we scroll to that, so it's still got the -1 applied, and that's essentially the reason why we can't select it. Now I'm still not 100% sure as to why it's getting pushed behind the body, because the way, I mean, obviously the body's the first tag, then you got this nav bar, and then essentially I'm trying to push the drop down one layer behind the nav bar, but it should still be in front of the body, but I can't understand why it's not. But anyway, I managed to find a suitable solution that actually almost lets you not have to worry about Z index at all. And I completely forgot that Z index is actually an animatable property, so Z index as well as visibility, so that means we can take it from one state to the other. So we can actually keep it as -1 on the default state here. I'll just scroll up a bit, sorry, we'll maximize that. So these are the default styles. We'll keep it to -1 there, and actually when we apply the hover state here, so as you know, everything's controlled by the hover state, that then applies the animation, transitions and translates to the drop down. We can actually toggle this to Z index 1, so that way it keeps on the same playing field. So here we go, so it's actually gone from -1 from behind to 1, and what I had to do on top of this to combat this is I added a transition. So if I quickly cut that out and let that reload, you'll see that you still get that overlay effect, and that's because I had to apply transition. Because it's an animatable property, we need to apply transition to it. And the way we went about this is having a 0-second transition, because we don't really want to, transition over time. We just want the Z index to change. But because we're applying a transition of 0.2 seconds to the other properties, excuse me, still a bit ill, we want to delay the Z index transition by 0.2 seconds. So as soon as we hover, it waits 0.2 seconds and instantaneously changes the Z index. So in fact, I think if we even change this to 0, that may work. I'm not sure. As I said, I'm not a master of Z index. It can be a bit of a pain at times, but it's one of those things you have to deal with eventually. So we'll keep it at 0. That seems to work. And yeah, so we've essentially fixed this. So it's all honky-dory. We'll show you again. The body is 100% the height. So yeah, I didn't actually manage to fix this the other night. I pretty much went to bed not long after, and the next day at work, during my lunch break, I was like, oh, let's have a crack at it. Let's see if I can identify the issue. And it didn't take too long, but sometimes you got to have a fresh head to tackle these things. And even though it wasn't that complex, you guys will come across it. You do tend to forget a lot of the properties and the things you can utilize within web development. So it's always just, I guess, googling and hitting W3 Schools and the Mozilla network and a lot of other resources that we'll go through over time. But yeah, unlike the last video, which crept up to 48 minutes, well, I apologise for that. It's bad editing and bad timekeeping. I'll keep this quite short, and I'll catch you for the next one, which is the Olympic CSS spinner. Oh, but also nearly forgot to point out the fact that I did fix that little border overlay there. So I used my favourite properties to combat that, the border top left and border top right radius, and I applied it just to the first and last child. So you know, you don't need to worry about overflow too much, as long as you're willing to write your favourite properties like I am, then you can get it done. So yeah, catch you guys next time.